My name is Allie, and I am an Environmental Education Fellow here at Osprey Wilds. Today, I will be reading you two books, both of which are Magic School Bus books. I have permission from Scholastic to read these to you today. The first book is The Magic School Bus Gets Cleaned Up. If we've learned one thing in Miss Frizzle's class, it is to be ready for anything. Miss Frizzle is full of surprises. Today, we are starting a new science unit about air pollution. We've learned about some far-out things with Miss Frizzle, but air pollution sounds like something to get choked up about. It's that time again, Miss Frizzle announces. When we see the sparkle in her eyes, we all know we're in for a class trip. We never go on normal field trips, Arnold groans. Yeah, but now we're just studying air, Tim says. What could be more normal than that, Wanda agrees. We were just leaving the school when Miss Frizzle gasped. I forgot my map, our teacher exclaimed. I'll go get it. Stay on the bus, kids. But when Miss Frizzle left, our bus started to shake. We felt a jolt and heard a cough, gasp, yak, wheeze, cough. The Magic School Bus is sick. Look at all that smoke. Poor bus. Poor us. Uh-oh. With each cough, the bus got smaller. We got as small as a dust particle, and we saw lots of stuff in the air. Yuck! What is that? Wanda asked. That's particulate matter from the buses, Dorothy Ann said. It's usually way too small for us to see. But it pollutes the air and makes it dirty, Tim said. Oh, no, Phoebe called, pointing out the front window. The wind blew us straight at Mr. Riviera, the crossing guard. A strong gust of wind blew us right inside Mr. Riviera's nose. Ew, are those nose hairs? Gross! They're not gross. They're good. Very good. There they are, right inside his nose hairs. How funny. Mr. Riviera didn't know we were inside him. Those nose hairs help filter out big particles from the air so they don't go into your lungs, Dorothy Ann tells us. The bus was so tiny it slipped right through the hairs. We were headed down the windpipe. Where's your class, Miss Frizzle? The class started its trip without me, Mr. Riviera. I'm meeting them soon. He has no idea they're inside him. Once we were in the lungs, we could see that Mr. Riviera had breathed in stuff other than air. Smaller particles can go deeper into the lungs, Dorothy Ann told us. There they are. Right there. The lungs started to exhale, and we began to go faster than ever. A high-pitched sound rang through the bus. It's a whistle, Wanda yelled over the noise. Mr. Riviera had blown his whistle, and we were shooting right into the air. The wind caught our bus and blew it into the sky. Our bus was still sputtering and wheezing. We went higher and higher with each cough. Look, Tim called. There's Miss Frizzle. She's getting on a bus with Miss Beck's class? There Miss Frizzle is, saying, May I ride with you to meet my class, Miss Beck? She's going to get on the bus. We could see Miss Beck's bus far below. It was leaving the school and turning onto the highway. Follow that bus! Now we can glide down and get Miss Frizzle's attention, Dorothy Ann called. There they are. There's little Miss Frizzle saying, I hope my class is enjoying its trip without me. When the wind blew right past the Frizzle's window in Miss Beck's bus, she was busy examining her map. She didn't seem to see us. But when she shook her keys, something funny happened to the bus. The wind blew us right to the front of Miss Beck's bus. "Where are we going?" Keisha asked. "According to my research," Dorothy Ann said as she looked in her book, "we're moving from the air into the engine of Miss Beck's bus." "I've never been inside that bus." "We're taking a trip through the bus's engine," Dorothy Ann told us. "Right now we're in the engine block," she said, and pointed to a picture in her book. "To get out, we need to follow the exhaust to the tailpipe." "It's hot in here." "That's because of the burning fuel." "I knew I should have stayed home today," exclaimed Arnold. "Look at us," cried Wanda. "We were covered with bits of soot." "We've left the engine block. Now we're in the exhaust system," Dorothy Ann exclaimed. "Pollution and soot can be left after the bus fuels burn. We're all covered in particulate matter." Exhaust was everywhere. It was extremely dirty. "My mom's never going to believe this. My dad thinks I'm dirty after baseball." There they are, all covered in soot. "How will we find Miss Frizzle?" Phoebe asked. When we noticed that the exhaust was going into a special device, and then we were going with it. Dorothy Ann looked in her book. "My research shows that this filter traps almost all particulate matter." After we went through the filter, we were all clean again. Then we heard a familiar voice. It was Miss Frizzle. "It's wonderful that you already had a filter put on your bus, Miss Beck. I'm looking forward to having one put on my bus as well," the Frizz said. There's what they filtered through, and there's Miss Frizzle. I knew they'd find her. Suddenly, we were in an auto shop, and we had on mechanics' outfits. Miss Frizzle was there with a mechanic. "Class, this is Mr. Spencer," she said. "He's going to put a filter on our bus that will clean the exhaust so that the bus won't be sick anymore." We all nodded. After our trip through the engine, we all knew how important Mr. Spencer's work was. "The filter is great, but there are other ways to reduce bus pollution," Spencer exclaimed. We helped Mr. Spencer install the particulate matter filter. Then we got ready to head back to school. Vroom, vroom! The bus purred to life. We were glad the bus was healthy again. "There's no more smoke. The bus is better than ever. Other buses can get better too, but our bus will always be the weirdest bus." And that is the end of book 1. What a trip. To go inside of someone's lungs and then into a bus engine? Sounds like fun to me. The next book I will be reading is The Magic School Bus Gets Baked in a Cake. A book about kitchen chemistry. Our teacher, Miss Frizzle, is always surprising us, so on her birthday we decided to surprise her. We planned a big party. We had balloons, streamers, confetti, and even noisemakers. "We thought of everything," Carlos said, but Arnold wasn't so sure. "Something's missing," he said. Here they are, getting ready for the big surprise party. And little Liz, our good old lizard, says, "I wonder if they'll remember my birthday." I hope they do. Liz deserves a birthday party too. Dorothy Ann was the only one who was not getting ready for the party. She was finishing her chemistry experiment. "What are you working at a time like this?" asked Carlos. Dorothy Ann explained, "I'm mixing 3 things together: water, sand, and cement, to make something new. Concrete. That's chemistry." That's when Arnold shouted, "I know what's missing. A birthday cake!" "My mother once made a cake that was like concrete," said Liz. We decided to put away the party things for later. We were upset. What was a birthday party without a cake? When Miss Frizzle came in, she saw our sad faces. "I see you've heard the news," she said. "The bus is not working well, so we won't be able to go to the bakery. I think I have to cancel our chemistry field trip." Bakery? What does a bakery have to do with chemistry? Asked Ralphie. A bakery is a small chemical factory, said the Frizz. Dorothy Ann added, baking is chemistry, because things are mixed together to make something new. Suddenly, Carlos realized that a bakery did indeed make something new. Cakes. Oh, Miss Frizzle, he said, our education wouldn't be complete without a trip to this chemical factory. Maybe the bus can get us to the bakery, said Miss Frizzle. Class, it's time for a field trip. Somehow, the bus did get us there, but as soon as we arrived, the bus began hopping and stretching, and then it shrank to the size of a toy car with us in it. How will we ever get inside the bakery now? Asked Wanda. There they are. Bus shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. Miss Frizzle wasn't worried. She pushed a button. Suddenly, the tiny bus sailed through the mail slot of the bakery door. Inside, we could see a baker and some customers. While the bus zoomed around the bakery, we took a good look at the cakes. Not one was chocolate. What will we do? Questioned Arnold. The Frizz likes chocolate. Carlos thought hard. We'll bake a cake, he said. It will be our chemistry experiment, said Dorothy Ann. How will we get Miss Frizzle out of the bakery? She asked. We don't want her to see what we're doing. Carlos remembered an auto parts store next to the bakery. He told the Frizz that it might have the parts she needed to fix the bus. Miss Frizzle thanked him, put on her jetpack, and took off. She left Liz in charge. There she is with her jetpack. I don't usually just carry a jetpack with me, do you? That's Miss Frizzle for you. By this time, the bus was the size of a moth. When the baker saw it flying around, he became angry. He got his fly swatter and chased us into the kitchen. Finally, Liz set the bus down beside some jars. The baker couldn't see us anymore. Luckily, some customers came into the shop, so the baker left us alone. Come on, said Carlos. We've got work to do. He began to read a cookbook. First, we have to gather and measure the ingredients. Everyone had a job. Ralphie got 2 eggs, but 1 egg got away from him. Wanda and Tim got the flour and sugar. Liz found a way to measure the salt and cream of tartar. What a funny guy. Ralphie said, Look, an egg roll! Just a rolling egg. Arnold had some trouble carrying the baking soda. First, he dumped it onto Dorothy Ann. Then he knocked over a bottle of vinegar. When the baking soda spilled on the vinegar, there was quite a reaction. When you mix vinegar and baking soda, you get a gas. Great chemistry. Keisha poured the milk, while Phoebe somehow got to the butter, and Ralphie finally caught the runaway egg at exactly the right moment. He really scrambled for that. We almost had scrambled eggs. Just then, Miss Frizzle came back. Dorothy Ann thought fast. She had to keep the Frizz away from the cake while we were baking. Miss Frizzle, could you help me with my chemistry experiment? She asked. They began to experiment with the vinegar and baking soda. The rest of us struggled with the measuring. The ingredients were bigger than we were. This is hard when you're half the size of a hot dog, complained Arnold. It could be worse, Ralphie told him. Suddenly, it was. The bus rattled and shook, then it shrank again, and so did we. Even tiny grains of salt and sugar looked like tiny building blocks and diamonds. Let's go, called Carlos. We have to make this cake before the baker catches us. He was right. So we hopped on the bus and whipped into action. Last of all, we added the best and most delicious ingredient, the chocolate. You might say the bus did all the work. There they are, and there the bus is doing all the mixing. But the baker was our problem. When he saw the bus in action, he thought it was the moth again. So he called the bug control company. For some reason, no one there believed that a moth could bake a cake. Meanwhile, Dorothy Ann and Miss Frizzle were still doing chemistry experiments. When the Frizz wanted to find the rest of us, Dorothy Ann had to stop her. "What would happen if I had a whole bunch of baking soda into a bottle with vinegar?" she asked. The Frizz loved the idea. "There's one way to find out," she said. So Dorothy Ann filled the bottle. The mixture fizzed over. It was a gas. When Dorothy Ann put a balloon over the top of the bottle, the gas pushed out on the sides of the balloon. The balloon got bigger and bigger. Here's the giant balloon. "Just like a tire filling with air," said Dorothy Ann. That reminded Miss Frizzle of the bus. "The bus needs new tires," she said. As the Frizz blasted off to check the bus tires, Dorothy Ann's balloon popped. Everyone cheered, though, because Miss Frizzle hadn't seen us. We went back to work. "The next step is to mix all the ingredients together," said Carlos. Once again, the bus helped us out. As it beaded the batter, it forced in air. This batter is making a real hard cake. Ralphie reminded us that cooks and chemists are really alike. They both measured out ingredients, he said, and mixed them together to make something new. The only difference is that cooks get to taste what they make. So it is a matter of taste. Let's hear it for taste tests. The baker was looking for us again. We had to do something quick. "Submarine down!" yelled Carlos. With that, the bus dove into the batter. When the baker saw the bowl of batter, he was surprised. "When did I make this?" he wondered. "I must be going donuts." He poured the batter into a pan and put it in the oven. Things began to heat up. "Why is it getting so hot?" Wanda cried. "I am pleased to announce," said Carlos, "the addition of the last ingredient, heat." Ralphie gasped. "Carlos?" "Yes," said Carlos. "We're in the oven." That meant one thing. We are about to become dessert! Just when we started to panic, Ralphie pointed to a funny figure moving through the batter. Liz opened the bus door and the Frizz came in. "Phew," she said. "It feels like somebody forgot to put the heat shield on." Quickly, Liz pressed a button and the shield went up. The temperature dropped. "As I always say," said Miss Frizzle, "if you can't stand the heat, get out of the oven." And there Arnold is, confused. How did she know we were in the oven? "Look," called Phoebe, "the batter's moving." Dorothy Ann explained, "According to my research, the baking soda is making bubbles." "The batter's not the only thing getting pushed around," pointed out Arnold. He was right. The bus was also moving. We could hear a strange noise, too. "It's steam," said Carlos. The Frizz didn't seem worried. "It's so hot that the water in the batter is becoming vapor," she said. "It's making bubbles." Wanda noticed something else. "The batter is starting to look kind of solid," she said. And so it was. The cake was done. "Oh no!" exclaimed Arnold. "We're going to have our we're going to have our cake and be eaten too." Things did look bad. Miss Frizzle tried some levers on the bus, but nothing worked. "We're doomed!" cried Arnold. "Wait, I've got an idea," said Dorothy Ann. "Do we have any baking soda and vinegar left?" Luckily, we did. "You see," said Dorothy Ann, "baking soda plus vinegar equals—" Carlos finished for her. the gas pressure we need to push us right out of here. We were right. Carlos put a balloon over the end of the container. Then he and Dorothy Ann put it on the back of the bus. The rest of us put on our seatbelts. Carlos says, "Something tells me this is going to be a blast." And Arnold said, "I'm beginning to feel like a crumb." What do you think's going to happen? When the baker took the cake out of the oven, the bus flew out of the cake. The baker chased us, but we got away through the mail slot. The baker says, "And stay out." Back at school, things were normal again. Well, as normal as they ever were with Miss Frizzle. We had a great party, and she seemed really surprised. At least she was very pleased. When we asked class, "Where did you get such a lovely cake?" she giggled. Carlos explained the baker just gave it to us and said it was ruined. Something about a moth. Miss Frizzle laughed and said, "Chemistry is a piece of cake." She was right. And that's the end of book 2. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope you get to go outside and read lots and enjoy your day. Stay healthy. Bye.